Hello, I am Precious Swain Peaks, owner of Anointed for Prosperity Bookkeeping and more. And today we're going to talk a little about business formation, the setting up of your LLC, your incorporation, your nonprofit, even the extra election to go into being an S Corp. That is a service that my office offers. I have performed that service for well over 20 years. I got into performing that service when I was working as a paralegal. And while working in the attorney's office, of course, part of our training as a paralegal is we learned document preparation, the drafting of the articles of incorporation, the articles of organization, the operating agreement, the share certificates, and things of that nature. Today, people don't necessarily have to go to an attorney or to a person who does doc prep to set up their LLC or incorporation, but it is highly recommended if you don't know how to do the process to at least get help in the portions that you don't know. So, we're going to discuss the process just a little because you can do your own business formation. If your budget is tight and you just know what to do, then by all means, you don't have to pay someone hordes of money to do this for you. If you know how to do it, but don't know how to do your appropriate paperwork that needs to go with it, of course, hire someone, get it done. But just so you understand the simplification of it, we're going to walk through a quick few screens of what will make this a little easier for you. First, I'm going to briefly talk about being a sole proprietor. It is perfectly fine to be a sole proprietor. If you don't have any partners, if you're not doing something that is dangerous or that could hurt people, if you are just starting out and your budget is kind of tight, definitely be a sole proprietor. Sole proprietors are able to get loans, they're able to get grants, they are able to um, file taxes, they're able to do everything else that the other businesses can do. The legality of it is if you are a sole proprietor, your business is in your legal name, your name, Precious's print shop, John's fishing boat, whatever. If you are going to use anything other than your name, you could still be a sole proprietor. You simply just need to register in your local state for a fictitious business name or a DBA, doing business as. In that process, you will normally have to run a newspaper ad announcing publicly that this is the name that you will be using for business. Normally, after you've done your initial application and been approved, your fictitious business name doesn't normally have to be renewed for up to 5 years, depending on the state. So, once you have your fictitious business name, you are able also to go to get your EIN, which I will demonstrate in the process. If you are going to be a sole LLC, a LLC with only one member, please remember that even though you've gone through the process of becoming an LLC, which is good, it protects your liability, that you will still have to file like a sole proprietor. You'll still be using a Schedule C or a Schedule E for your income taxes, and it is filed with your personal 1040. So let's take a look at where you would go to set up an LLC, articles of incorporation, or a nonprofit. As you see, I'm on Bing and I've simply typed in Division of Corporation. Let me tell you why. Every state has a division of corporation, and their division of corporations is where you're going to do this process. For the sake of this training, I'm going to go ahead and do Florida. Florida is found at sunbiz.org. So as you see on the Division of Corporations for Florida, I can search records, I could start a business, I could manage or change your business, and here are where our forms and our fees are. If I wanted to find a business that I am the registered agent under, I can come over and put in Anointed for Prosperity, and it's going to give you a list, and I can keep scrolling, but for sake of time, I won't, of the businesses that I have set up and am listed as their registered agent. So you may be saying, I'm new to this. What is a registered agent? And a registered agent is someone who receives any type of service on your behalf. If they cannot reach you and they're trying to take you to court or anything of that nature, your registered agent is who will receive and be responsible for making sure that you are given that information. So as you look over here, it says start a business. What do you want to do? So we've already talked about the fictitious business name. This is where you would register it. If you're looking to be an LLC, a profit, or a nonprofit. The purpose of a LLC, of course, is the limited liability. But this is where, on every state, you can go and go through the process. Okay? So, for knowledge sake, now you know. The fees are going to vary from state to state. All states aren't the same. Florida is a lower cost state. Some states go as high as $400 or $500. So you're going to look for the state that you want to be in, and you're going to follow this process. The next thing that you're going to do once the state has sent you back an approval, you're going to go to the IRS. If you go to irs.gov and select where it says apply for EIN, you will go to this screen and you will put in your application for your EIN. Just that simple. So what do you need your EIN for? You need your EIN in order to open a bank account. You need your EIN in order to hire, pay, and with employees. So this is where you would get it. And remember, you normally would wait until the state has sent over the approval. And the reason is because if the state comes back and says, no, we can't register your company under this name because someone else has it, or this or that, whatever the reason may be, you don't want to have already put in the application and gotten an EIN for a business name that you now can't use. This is why you set up first and then get the EIN. So the two are in order, because when you go to open the bank is opening the account based on the information on the EIN. If the two informations conflict, you're going to run into an issue opening a business account with a legitimate bank. Okay? So you may be saying that's easy. Why would I pay somebody to do that? This part is extremely easy, but here's where it gets a little more tricky. So far, a lot of information that has been given leads people to believe that those are the only two steps they need to take to functionally run a business. And it may feel right and seem right until you decide, hey, I want to apply for a grant. Hey, I want to apply for a loan. And in the bank account opening process, sometimes they'll even ask, Where are your articles of incorporation? Where are your articles of organization? Where is your partnership agreement? This this is a sample of some articles of incorporation. They lay out the details and the structure of how a corporation is run. In the articles, you will have the number of stocks that you started the business with, how many were sold, who are the board members, where are your bylaws, when did you incorporate, under what statutes is this business being run, what is this business actually for, what is the purpose of this business. A lot of times on the website, people put in any and all lawful business. Yeah, that sounds great. But in your articles, you're going to break down what you really do, because normally 99% of the time, what you do is not any and all lawful business. What you do is something specific, and you're going to lay that out in your articles. Your articles are going to describe what percentages the shareholders get. What does the board's salary look like? Different things like that. You need that not only for banks and loans, but you need that for your protection if something were to happen and one of your board members decided to quit or challenge the way they're being paid and things of that nature. So that is the importance of the articles of incorporation. In addition to the articles which are needed if you have a incorporation, whether it is profit or nonprofit, both of them need them. The verbiage for a nonprofit organization is very specific if you want your application to be approved by the IRS. So make sure that when you're going to set up, that you're setting up correctly. For an LLC, of course, you need articles of organization and an operating agreement. Your operating agreement explains how you're going to operate. How are the percentages broken down? If this happens, how are you going to continue to operate? So it is very important that you set up correctly. This is all handled in the formation stage. If you are someone that needs a sales tax certificate, you're going to go to the Department of Revenue site for the state that you're in, and you're going to set up your sales tax in the formation portion of the process. If you are looking to be a wholesaler or to purchase wholesale, you're definitely going to need your sales tax certificate. If there is any licensing, food service licensing, food handling classes, all of these things are part of the formation process. Formation does not stop with starting an LLC. There is more to the starting of an LLC than just, hey, I filed with the state. You need your ducks in a row. You need your things in order. In most cases, if you get the service from somewhere like LegalZoom or myself, we give you something like this, a book with your company name on it in a box to protect it from the dust with all your paperwork on the inside, sometimes even a stamp so that your company has its stamp to stamp the different agreements that it goes into. Why do you think we give you a box? Just because it's pretty? No. If it was as simple as just filing with your local state, why do you need a big folder with a box? You need the big folder with the box so that everything is in one place at one time when you needed to go to the bank, to the grant office, to wherever you're going, you can grab your box and your articles are in there. Your shareholders are in there. Any partnership agreements, sales tax certificate, EIN, all of these things are in the one box, in the one folder, easily for you to use. So I hope that this helped somebody to understand true business formation. I hope that this kind of explains why people charge to do business formation for you. Just so pricing is not a surprise. On average, between $50 and $500 is going to be your state filing fee. If you are setting up a nonprofit, you are going to have your state filing fee and then your IRS filing fee, which is about another 700 and some odd dollars. When you sit down with someone to draft these documents normally, on average, a paralegal charges between $50 and $75 an hour. You may find some that charge less, or give a package deal. But in addition to your filing fees, now you have however long it took to draft your bylaws, your articles, your operating agreements, your employee handbooks, your rules and regulations, your attendance policy, the things of that nature. So, in the process, always use wisdom. The things you can do yourself, do. The things you need to pay for, bite the bullet and pay for it. If you're not in a position to be able to do your formation, you may want to think about, is it really time for me to hop out and be an LLC or an incorporation? The other thing, just to make you aware of how the process works, if you started an LLC or an incorporation and you want to be a S Corp, you want to be considered a small corporation with lower income coming in, lower employees. That form is separate from your initial setup with the state. Just because you set up as an incorporation with the state does not automatically make you an S Corp. To become an S Corp, you're going to file the election with the IRS. That form could be sent in immediately after you do the process, or you can send it in with your first tax form. If you have any questions, any concerns, or need this service, please reach out to us at www.anointedforprosperity.com or via email at info@anointedforprosperity.com. Give us a call at 352-437-6675, and definitely take time and follow us on social media. As you see, my Instagram is in the bottom thirds, but I can also be found on Facebook at Precious Shonda Swain, on LinkedIn at Precious Peaks, and on TikTok at Imprecious ENT. Thank you for tuning in and have an amazing day.